Hello screenwriters, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to talk about the 3 things that you need to make it in Hollywood as a screenwriter. And make sure you stay to the end of this video to learn which path that I'm taking. The first thing that it takes to make it in Hollywood as a screenwriter is to win a major screenwriting competition, specifically the Nicholl Fellowship. If you've been watching this channel and reading my blogs, you know how important the Nicholl Fellowship is. The Nicholl Fellowship has gone through some changes recently. However, I believe it's still one of the most important, if not the most important ways to get into Hollywood as a screenwriter. Before you would go on the Nicholl Fellowship website and submit an application for your screenplay, now you have to go through a major university or the blacklist. Even though it's not as easy as it used to be to submit your application, it's still a very important aspect of your screenwriting journey. There are other screenwriting competitions out there. The Nicholl Fellowship is still the most important one. Now, just by winning the Nicholl Fellowship, first of all, winning the Nicholl Fellowship is tough, right? It's like winning the lottery for screenwriters. Even though you win the Nicholl Fellowship, it still doesn't guarantee that you'll make it in Hollywood. I'm sure there's a lot of screenwriters out there who's won the Nicholl Fellowship and is still having a hard time to break it into Hollywood. On the other hand, there are screenwriters out there who's gotten an agent because they've won the Nicholl Fellowship. Speaking of agent, the number 2 way to break it into Hollywood is to get a literary screenwriting agent. The thing about getting an agent is it's a catch-22. An agent will not represent you unless you have a name. You can't get a name until you get an agent. So how do you get an agent? By winning a major competition, that's one of them. And then the second way is if you have a friend who already has an agent, they could refer you to their agent. It's not as easy as having your friend refer you to their agent. Your friend, I'm sure whoever they are, worked hard to get that agent. They're not just going to introduce you because it's their name that's on the line here. Imagine if they introduce you to their agent and then you have a script that's horrible, right? Now, do you think your friend will ever refer you again to another agent? Probably not. This is why you have to be ready. You have to have a script that is polished, so that way if your friend says, hey, Mike, look, I have my friend here who wrote a screenplay. Would you mind reading it? And then if your screenplay is like top notch, most likely that agent will represent you because they want to keep that relationship that they have with their current client. When I say having your friend introduce you to their agent, I mean a genuine friend. I don't mean someone you've said hello once or twice to on Twitter. I'm talking about a friend you genuinely have, meaning you've known this person for several years. You guys had lunch together, you've had coffee, you hang out. This is what I mean. And the third thing you need to make it in Hollywood as a screenwriter is create your own path. This is by far the hardest, but the most rewarding. When I say create your own path, I mean produce your own films, direct your own films, save up money, basically bootstrapping and just creating buzz for your work. Trust me, if you create enough buzz, if you start winning film festivals and your name is getting out there, an agent and producer will start coming to you. At this point, you may not even need them. You can just continue on creating great piece of work and then let your name speak for themselves. Yes, eventually, if you get big enough, you will need representation. It doesn't have to be an agent. It could be a manager. All right, to recap, win the Nicholl Fellowship, have your friend introduce you to their agent, and in creating your own path by producing great material. There's a common thread in these 3 things. Can you guess what they are? The script. Let me show you what I mean about the script. How do you win the Nicholl Fellowship? You have to write a great script. You have to have a great story. And then, why would your friend introduce you to their agent? Because your friend know you have a great script. They've read your script. And then, when you create your own path, how do you win a film festival? How do you attract people to make your film? The script, the story. You see what I mean? It all starts with the script. Make sure you go out there, write a great script, and then the rest will take care of itself. That doesn't mean if you write a great script that you'll automatically make it in Hollywood. No, it doesn't work that way. However, your chances are highly, highly more likely if you have a great script. As I mentioned, I'm going to tell you which path that I'm taking. I'm currently taking the third path. I am creating my own lane, meaning I'm writing, producing, and directing my own material. I have yet to make it in Hollywood. By creating my own path, here's what's happening, right? I'm getting better as a filmmaker. I'm getting better as a business person. I'm also meeting and networking. Networking is something that's very important. That, as a matter of fact, that should have been 1.1 on the list. Networking is very important. However, networking alone is not enough to make it in Hollywood. You might be thinking, can I do all three at the same time? Can I submit my screenplay to the Nickel Fellowship while I'm producing my own material at the same time while I'm trying to get an agent? Yes, of course you can. Why would you though? You should try to focus on one thing. If you spread yourself too thin, then it's possible that you'll end up burned out, and then that defeats the purpose. In the beginning, my main focus was step one. Just try to win a screenwriting competition, until I realized that I'm wasting so much money. Yes, I would get better as a screenwriter because of the feedback I would be getting. I decided though my time would be better spent if I created my own path. This is what's currently working for me. That's not saying that you should do the same thing. You should just find one thing and then focus on that one thing, at least for a few years. All right, that is it. And then if you want to know what job to avoid in Hollywood as an up and coming screenwriter, make sure you watch this video right here. All right, fade out.